welcome. My name is Francia. We're going to be doing our restorative practice today and closing it up with our sound healing session. So really the only tool you need today is your body, your mat, and a pillow if you wanted to do this, again, in the comfort of your own bed. This is a great place to practice this type of class as well. So we'll start in a comfortable seated position. Feel free to elevate the hips, let the knees relax down, and let's just start by grounding ourselves. Soften the shoulders, maybe close the eyes. Become aware of the movement of your breath. As we observe the sensations within the body, as we settle down after our day, letting the stresses of the day just slowly melt away, and coming into a sense of here and now, present. Check in with the parts of your body making contact with the earth. Perhaps your sits bones or the sides or tops of your feet, your shins, your knees, thighs, the glutes. Those parts of your body that are contacting with the earth, see if you can feel rooted through there. Kind of like a connection to the earth below. And then from that space, allow your body to rise, your air, your breath to lift you out of the places contacting the earth, and then rising up through the spine, the abdomen, the rib cage and chest, all the way through the top of the head. And then allow awareness into the shoulders to relax them down, like gravity pulling down through the elbows. Your hands just resting at your lap or on your knees or next to your body. Allow yourself a swallow, let the tongue go limp in the back of the throat, and then just relax the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Check in with the muscles of your face. Make sure that there's no tension in and around the eyes or the jaw. Check in with the muscles of your neck and throat. Your head equally balanced over your shoulders, that your neck isn't working too hard to keep you lifted. Sometimes our posture during the day suffers a little bit when we get tired. So bring yourself into awareness now. And keep yourself upright but effortless. One more deep breath. Slowly exhale, relaxing and softening any parts of your body that doesn't need to be tensed or engaged. And then with the next inhale breath, we'll draw the palms together at the center of the heart. Perhaps set an intention for your practice today. As we move through restorative practice, it's really important to remain mindful. We move in a mindful way. We move with awareness. And if we set an intention for our practice, then it can kind of anchor us to remain with that intention, that sankalpa, or that idea, whatever it may be. And slowly we'll exhale, releasing any more tension, softening through the shoulders and jaw. And then we'll inhale for the sound Om. Inhale to begin. Now then we'll release the hands, we'll blink the eyes open, awareness into our space. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and start today with our bolster, and we're gonna start in a little back bend. We've done this one before. We're gonna place our bolster over the top of our mats in this long position. And then we're gonna bring it right to our lower back, And then allow your body to just simply rest back onto your bolster. If your pillow is long enough, maybe your head can rest on it as well. But sometimes if the pillow is not long enough, it might kind of come over the top. And then you want to make sure that the top of your head or the back of your head is resting somewhere. You don't want your head hanging. And then from here, you can extend your legs, or you can take legs into Baddha Konasana with the soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. You can relax your arms to your sides. You can take your arms overhead, kind of intensifying this posture. We're going to be here for a little bit. So I recommend you kind of start where it's the most comfortable position for you. Maybe legs extended, arms by your side. And then make sure that you're fully seated onto the floor. So you don't want to have your hips elevated and kind of pushing into the bolster. But instead, just relax your glutes and legs and let your body softly melt over your prop. And then close your eyes, take some breaths. Let yourself be completely kind of just present. When we do poses, that we hold for a little longer than traditional, maybe a vinyasa count, we really want to kind of come into that full deep awareness. It becomes a meditative experience. So in the same way you would sit in meditation, observe your body, anchor of the breath, mindful of any perhaps stimuli going on around you, but keeping your awareness inward, not letting your mind run off with thoughts, ideas, stories. This is the same thing we want to practice in this class. As we hold the pose, we try to relax into it, and we try to keep the mind focused, just like we would in a meditation practice. There's no need to draw into the navel. Just allow yourself to keep a nice soft belly. Let it expand with the in-breath, and let it release and soften with the out-breath. If at some point you want to make your pose perhaps a little bit more intense, then maybe at this point you can go ahead and bend the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and let the knees fall out to the side. The feet can be as close to your body or as far away from your body as you like. So you don't want to feel like there's tension in the hips. Instead, you want to feel like there's a sense of openness happening. And I always like to kind of mirror the legs by bringing the arms up. This will again intensify your back bend. You'll feel your chest and rib cage lift a little bit here, but try to keep your lower back and your glutes grounded down towards the earth. And I just kind of hold on one of my wrists, doesn't really matter which one, and just let your arms kind of hang heavy. It's a nice way to open up the shoulders as well. So we'll just breathe here now that the pose has been created a little bit more intensity in it. We can focus on the parts of the body that feel the tension that's being created by the change in the position of the legs and the arms. So if at any point you want to go back to that more natural state, then please do. And allow yourself a few moments to observe the difficulty or the effort that needs to be put in order to simply change the limbs. That small change within our posture can create such a different feeling for the posture. And again, try to rest your face, relax your tongue and your jaw. Breathe deeply, the belly is soft, expanding with the in-breath, sinking back and down with the out-breath. The breath be steady and calm. Try to make it rhythmic. You can try counting the seconds it takes you to breathe in. And then maybe you can try doubling that count for breathing out. So for example, if you breathe in for a count of 4, you might want to breathe out for a count of 8. And like a meditative posture, you are holding the asana while keeping your focus and your concentration, either on the counting of the breath, or on the simple movement of the breath, or perhaps the sensations within the body. Let's hold here one more deep breath in. Easy, slow breath out, double the length of the inhale. And then slowly let's release the arms, bring them down. So we're going to practice today a Utthana Padasana on the bolster. So go ahead and bring your knees back up to center. And if you might remember Utthana Padasana from our practice, we are lifted and the top of our head is on the mat. In this one, more restorative one, we're going to keep the back flat on the bolster and make sure that your hips are down. From here, you're going to lift your legs like you would Baddha or Navasana legs. And then you're going to lift your arms and look towards your thumbs. And we won't hold this one as long because it takes quite a bit of effort, but we want to build up a little fire here before we move into the rest of our practice. So shoulders move back, toes point, you're looking towards your thumb, and you're kind of pressing your head down towards the mat. One more breath here if you can hold. Inhale. And then exhale, bend your knees, bend your elbows, bring it all down. Maybe a constructive rest using the props when feet separate, knees come together, and then relax your arms to your sides. All right, from here, we're going to go into some side stretching. I love using the bolster for stretching the side. So we're going to lean over to one side so that the bolster, let's say it's under the right side for clarity here. And then you're just going to rest your torso over the bolster. Now, one of the things that happens to me here is if I have my arms straight, my shoulder seems to kind of be out of alignment. So one of the things I like to do is extend my arm behind and almost come like I'm almost twisting into it. Then I like to separate my knees. The bottom knee kind of goes forward, the top knee goes back, and then I can kind of just rest my head down onto the bolster. So this feels a little bit like a twist through the torso and through the rib cage, but it's also feeling like a nice stretch all the way through that left side body. And then you can plant both forearms down and just kind of close your eyes and breathe easy here. As your breath kind of guides you into the posture. Sometimes the heels kind of pop up, so see if you can relax your feet all the way down to the mat. Move the shoulders back and down away from the ears. Easy, calm breathing. You might feel this a little bit in your hips as well. More breath. And settle in as you exhale. And then we're going to go ahead and slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to lift ourselves up. And then maybe create a little bit more of a twist, bringing the weight over towards the center here. Just allow your elbows to be soft, your shoulders to even out. And then slowly we release. We're going to take it the other direction. So just moving the hips over to the side. Both knees go to the other side. And just start first with the knees together. Arm extends up and over. And just kind of notice how that feels. Maybe it feels nice and you might want to stay here a little bit. But if you feel like you want a little bit more rotation, go ahead and lift up, kind of slide yourself over so that the left elbow comes down. And then the top leg goes back as the bottom leg stays forward. And then you're going to go ahead and rest your left ear on the mat. And easy breathing here. Let your shoulders relax. It feels like you're twisting, but not really. You're twisting just enough that you're letting your body really settle down onto the bolster. So you're not actively twisting. It's a very passive movement, which is what we search for when we do these restorative practices, is we're looking for passive stretches, passively working on building strength, which is where we're going to go next after this. You just allow yourself a couple more deep breaths in and slow breaths out. And then with your next inhale, we're going to slide the hands underneath the shoulders. Inhale to press ourselves up. And just a little wiggle, a little bit of movement here to create a little bit more rotation through the body. Be gentle, be kind, try not to overdo. And slowly exhale, coming back. Okay, now we're gonna place our bolsters sideways, and we're gonna go for a little bit of a Sphinx pose. Before we do that, come onto hands and knees. Take a moment, tuck your toes under, move your hips back and stretch out through your toes. Roll your shoulders back and away. So your toes are tucked under and you're stretching through the heels, the toes, the soles of the feet, maybe a little bit even in the Achilles tendon, you might feel it. And then slowly come back forward. All right, we're gonna grab our bolster, place our elbows onto the top, and then we're gonna drop our hips down. And just take a moment to kind of settle your hips down onto the mat. We want to keep our feet a good distance apart, maybe about as wide as your hips, not too wide, but not narrow and squeezing in. So somewhere in the middle, kind of make your legs comfortable. Point your toes away and then relax your ribcage onto the bolster. You might need to kind of scooch it in a little closer so that you really feel supported by it. Imagine if we were on the floor doing Sphinx, this is how we would be lifting up using our arms. So luckily we don't have to use our arms, we can use the bolster. So then the arms can kind of extend forward, but I like to keep my elbows on, so that way I can still feel that drawing in. So you almost want to feel like you're pulling the bolster in towards your body. And then once you kind of settled in, shoulders back, hold there, relax your body, and breathe. The palms are flat on the mat, but you're not gripping, so you're just kind of resting your hands there. The chest is lifted, the shoulders are back. You're just kind of gazing forward, or again, you can close your eyes. As soon as I close my eyes, for me, my experience is that I start to kind of really become aware of what muscles are activating in this particular pose. So perhaps you feel this in your middle back. Perhaps you feel this in the back of your shoulders, maybe even in your neck. Perhaps you feel it in your lower back, depending on the flexibility of your spine. If you want a little bit more activity, you can slide the elbows on top of the bolster, kind of bring them in, and then let your hands kind of hang off the side, and then now you have a little bit more activity up. Make a conscious effort to kind of relax the glutes. So I like to kind of wiggle a little bit, just reminder, keep the legs active enough to stay straight, but not so active that your knees come off the mat. So you want to keep your legs soft enough, but also activated enough. So because we're holding here, we get a chance to really work with what that feels. So you might want to engage your legs and squeeze into your glutes a little bit. And then you want to relax and notice the difference. And if you relax completely, what does that happen? It sinks you. So then you want to find a sense of upright, but softness in the legs, soften the glutes. And this starts with just simply maneuvering yourself through the posture. That's the beauty about holding it, is you get to try all these different things. There's plenty of time to do so. So relax your shoulders, move them back away from the ears, and keep lengthening through the spine. Beautiful. Just a couple more breaths here. Nice deep inhale, slow exhale, double the length of the in-breath. Again, deep breath in. Feel your rib cage rising. Exhale completely. Good. And then slowly we release the elbows, let yourself settle down. And just bring your forehead down towards the mat or the bolster. I kind of cross my arms a little bit, make a pillow for my forehead. And just let your shoulders relax here. All right, so we're going to move into a supported pigeon. And normally when we do pigeon, we use a block. So today we're not going to use a block. We're going to push ourselves up. And this supported pigeon has the bolster over like on the left side. So kind of move it slightly left of your mat. And then you're going to take that right leg forward and kind of bring it in front of the bolster. So the other leg is behind. You want to kind of slide it so that it's fully underneath your right leg. So you might see a little bit of the bolster coming out the right side. And then just take a moment to twist, open, and close into that left hip. So the left hip opens out and then it closes in. And what does it feel like when you do this? Like, what do you need to do to adjust here? You might need to slide the bolster a little bit more. You might need two bolsters. You might need a pillow to kind of stack yourself up in. But this is going to help keep this leg in this open position, which normally we close it in when we do this. Now that we have the support of the bolster, it might be a little easier. So now we're going to take maybe another pillow if you have it nearby, or a block if you have that nearby. And just bring your forearms to whatever other prop you have in front. You don't need another prop. You could simply bring your hands to elbows to the floor. But I find because we're going to be here for a little while, using something to elevate the floor up to me is going to feel a little nicer than otherwise. So be mindful of that left leg. The knee is down and the toes are pointing back. So make sure that you're not opening that leg out to the side. Keep that left thigh inward rotation, rolling in. And then just breathe here. Shoulders back, stabilize your breath. And again, inhaling for 4 or 5. Exhaling for 8 or 10. Your belly is soft as you hold. And your shoulders relax back towards the hips as you hold. If it's available for you, maybe you can walk the elbows forward, maybe even bringing the forehead towards your pillow or block. If you have like a meditation cushion, you can turn it on its side, make it a little taller so that your head can rest. Keep cracking those left toes down, activating through that left leg, and letting the stretch happen passively on that right hip. Fully supported that right hip. Easy, calm breathing. And allow your back muscles to relax so that there's a sense of lengthening in the body, but not overdoing it. If you need to curl a little bit into the back, let your shoulders soften, that's fine. Remember, your focus here primarily is on that right hip, although this stretch may manifest in many different parts of the body. Let's hold one more breath. Inhale for 4 or 5. And exhale for 8 or 10. Next, inhale, slide the hands underneath the shoulders, lift yourself up, take a moment to kind of just feel that extension of that back leg, good job. We're gonna drop our right hip down, slide that left leg in, and then just kind of make your way off the bolster by bringing your right leg over. No nice, happy way to do this, just gonna come back to center. And then realign yourself again onto hands and knees, toes stuck under, and we press back. Let's do a quick downward facing dog here, just to kind of even out the hips and the legs. Inhale, lift the hips, exhale, press your way back, separate your feet about hip width, If the heels touch, fine. If they don't, just reach them towards the earth. That energy of pulling the heels down is what we're looking for here. Lift your quadriceps, contract. Shoulders wrap around the body, away from the ears. Belly's drawn deeply in. A little bit of Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha engaged. And then exhale, drop it down. Okay, so now we'll do the other side. Sliding that bolster a little closer. We're going to take that left leg up on the other side of the bolster, walk that foot out to the side, and then drop that hip and knee down. So start with just the hip coming down, kind of wiggling yourself here a little bit. Maybe you center yourself a little bit more. Find what feels comfortable for you. The bolster is going to keep, again, that left leg as parallel to the top of the mat as it could possibly go. And then you're going to drop those right toes back and try to extend into that right leg. When you're ready, give yourself a moment. Maybe grab yourself a pillow. This side is tough for me. So we're going to make this pillow taller. And we're going to bring the elbows down. So the first part of this pose is the adjustment period of being in it and allowing our bodies to kind of create the space that it needs to create so that we can get this passive stretch and start working on what it means like for the body to move in this position. The higher your bolster underneath your hip is, the easier this is going to be for your body. So if you wanted to stack 2 or 3 bolsters up, if you have a few of them, feel free to do so. Or you can put blankets and just make it taller and taller and taller. Blocks underneath the bolster can make it taller too. Settle into the sensations you find. No fighting with your body. It's okay if that right leg kind of starts to move a little bit. Just keep that internal rotation of the leg the best you can so that that hip can be down and relaxed. As you start to feel there's space, maybe letting your forehead come down, or maybe not. Maybe just keeping the arms straight or keeping the elbows right on top of the pillow or block or bolster in front of you. We'll be here for just a few breaths. Again, inhaling deeply for 4 or 5. Exhaling completely for 8 or 10. These passive stretches really help to kind of bring so much awareness to the parts of our body that need a little extra love and attention. And sometimes we forget because we like to do things that feel really nice in the body or look great or whatever it might be. But these types of poses are so good for us, so restorative for our mind, our bodies, our spirit. Just give yourself the opportunity to be with the discomfort, whatever that may lead. You might find you have room to go a little deeper. You might find you want to stay up a little higher. Let's hold one more breath. Then inhale, sliding the hands down, lifting yourself up, kind of coming into this upright position, wiggling yourself back and forth a little bit. And then we're going to drop that left hip, slide that right leg in. Again, no pretty way to come off, just come off the bolster, bring both legs back. And then one more time, come into hands and knees. Once you've made it to your hands and knees, just take a moment to feel what it feels like in your hips and in your hip flexors. And then slowly exhale, push yourself back into your downward facing. And then from this downward facing dog, just allow yourself another deep breath in, shoulders move away. Maybe bend the knees, straighten the legs, maybe sway a little side to side, evening out the body. And then slowly exhale, bring the knees down. Then we're going to take our balasana. So separate your knees wide, bring the bolster between the knees, And let your rib cage, your chest, your body rest on top of the bolster. You can turn your head to the side, or you can keep your chin kind of on your hands or your forehead on your hands. Allow yourself to feel fully supported by your prop. So normally in our child's pose, we extend the arms and there's this sense of elongation as we work to bring the rib cage and the chest down. In this one, again, the restorative version of this pose, the more the aim here is to find a passive surrender. So we kind of rest. We let go of tension in the jaw, the shoulders. We let go of tightness. Perhaps that has been creeping up in the hips after our pigeon poses. If you want, you can also let your ear rest and then bring your hands back towards the feet. And it helps to really soften the shoulders. Easy and calm breathing. Breathing in for 4 or 5. Breathing out for 8 or 10. Double the length of the inhale. Continue to breathe in this way. Again, that meditative breathing, focus, your anchor. If you turned your head in one direction, go ahead and turn it the other direction so that you can get equal side stretching into the neck. You can keep the arms back and down, or you can bring them back forward if that's too much. One more deep breath. Exhale completely. You can bring your arms forward a little bit. Lift yourself up. Maybe tuck the chin to your chest. Lengthen the back of your neck. Shoulders move away from the ears. And then maybe you can start to curl yourself up. So elevate your middle back and kind of curl yourself forward and down, rounding the back like cat. And slowly inhale, roll yourself up to seated. And you can push the bolster away. Okay, so we're gonna do this one last pose for as a counter pose for the back bend that we've done. We're gonna go ahead and extend the legs forward, and we're gonna open the legs pretty wide, maybe even wider than your mat, maybe even a lot wider. Then grab your bolster, place it in front. So if you have really kind of open hips and you feel like this is enough, you might want to just use that. But the option here is to stack pillows on top. And so the higher that this setup goes, the easier it will be for you to rest your rib cage on top. You want your rib cage to rest on top so that you can surrender the weight of your torso onto your props. So one of the things I notice, at least for me, is if I start with my whole body supported by stacking pillows, then my body kind of feels like it releases. And observe if that's the same thing that happens for you. Your legs are slightly engaged, which means your toes are pointing up towards the sky and back towards your body. So your feet are flexed, your feet are relaxed or pointing forward. So this engagement of the legs keeps you rooted down to the earth. And then as you find your forward fold and you relax into it, you might find that the extra pillow becomes almost a hindrance, and you want to be able to feel a little bit more opening in the inner thighs, in the groin, and basically in through the whole back of the legs. So this is a deep forward fold. Normally we do it with the legs together, but it can also be done like this. As you relax your forehead down onto your hands, or again, you can turn your head to the side, and then you can even bring your hands onto the outsides of the feet. Maybe just let your fingers touch the outsides of your feet here. We're not pulling with the arms, we're just placing them there. Just a good place for them to be so that the shoulders don't feel like they're collapsing forward. They can relax back and down. And again, they can have the side of the head, or you can have the chin down. Whatever feels good. Let your whole upper body be supported by your prop. So you're not really putting any weight anywhere else in your body, other than your legs, and your prop is holding you up. If your head was turned one way, go ahead and turn it the other direction so you can stretch out to that side of the neck as well. Or if your chin was on, maybe you can reach your chin slightly more forward and roll those shoulders back. Try to create space from the tailbone to the top of the head. Breathe easy. Inhaling for 4 or 5. Exhaling for 8 or 10. Continue with that same pattern of breath. Do one more deep breath in. Easy and slow breath out. You can release our fingers and our arms, bring our hands in front, and then slowly use your arms to help lift you. Be mindful here because it's a deep stretch in the groin and in the inner thigh. So you want to be mindful as you come up. And then slowly lift up. You can move the bolster out of the way. And we're going to hug our knees up towards the body. Bring the knees together and give yourself a nice squeeze, a nice hug. Maybe we can bring our sankalpa or dedication back into our field of awareness. As we go ahead and lay all the way down onto the back. So we'll do our sound healing session now. Allow your body to feel completely comfortable. One we use for the bolster that you can use here is you can place it underneath your knees so that when you lie down, your knees are in a bent, supported position. You can also use it to go back into that back bending position we started off with. Whatever feels right. Wrap yourself up, gets nice and warm and cozy. And then once you're lying down, close your eyes and settle as we prepare for our sound healing session. to all parts of your body equally. Softening, relaxing. slowly begin to bring our awareness back to this body, this mind, back to this room. Maybe recall the intention you set for your practice today, your sankalpa. And start to awaken the body by adding gentle movement to the fingers, toes, hands and feet, wrists and ankles, arms and legs. Perhaps taking a full body stretch as you reach your arms up and your legs away. Then maybe coming into a little seed by tucking your knees into your chest, hugging them close to your body. Maybe just start rolling around a little bit side to side here, front and back. And then just roll a little bit more towards your right side and come and lay onto your right side for a moment or two. When you're ready, you can start to make your way back up to a comfortable seated posture. Or if you're really comfy where you are, you can just simply stay and enjoy the rest of your Shavasana. And draw the palms together at the center of the heart. And we'll seal our practice with one last sound, Om. Inhale to begin. Om. May we feel protected and safe. May we feel contented and pleased. May our physical bodies support us with health and strength. And may our lives unfold smoothly with ease. Namaste.